keeps mulling as pretty cabinet. Hello. Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to Turn That Fan Off.
Too loud.
Well, we shall see.
We're going to experiment.
Ouch, motherfucker!
You just elbowed my knee.
You hit me in the dick. You're lucky it wasn't hard.
Why?
I meant this thing, not my dick. No, I'm just kidding.
Why does he keep kicking me in the dick?
Trump, 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 Trump. Alright, where the fuck is it?
I'm pulling it up.
Are you pulling it up? Alright, yeah, double check, see if that fan's gonna be too low.
It's very loud.
Alright. Are you pulling it up? Alright, yeah, double check, see if that fan's gonna be too low.
It's very loud.
Alright. Are you pulling it up? Alright, yeah, double check, see if that fan's gonna be too low. It's very loud. Alright. Are you pulling it up? Alright, yeah, double check, see if that fan's gonna be too low. How many times am I gonna say that?
And you turned it off? And it pretty well immediately
went away.
Quiet, yep. Welcome everyone.
Hello again.
You may notice we're a day late.
And a buck short.
Well, we're always a buck short.
And it's fucking hot already.
And somebody online said below average intelligence podcast for like the 1000th time. It's not
I swear
enough.
it is so funny because every time you say it, it just gets that much more dumb.
It's like Frieza in DBZ Abridged, where he counts in his head the number of times people say certain things. He's like, "I'll stop you, 545."
Boom.
I love it. He's like, "I will go fuck you, 7." A couple of announcements real quick before we get in the thick of, before we really get into it, before we really dissect what's going on with the Durham report. That was like Mickey Mouse post-puberty.
No, it was like,
Hey, Minnie.
well, I'm gonna go jerk off.
It was hot dog, Minnie.
I can see this fan too much. I'm fucking burning up.
A couple of announcements real quick. This podcast is brought to you by the rock band Again, who released their official music video 2 days ago for their song...
Kamikaze?
No, I wish. As much as I tried to convince them that Kamikaze was the...
Was your favorite?
Oh, they know it's my favorite. This is not a secret.
Me neither.
And I feel bad because I always just blank on... Turned. I thought it was Turned, but then I thought it was wrong. Their official music video for their song Turned is live on YouTube now. You can see it on YouTube. Just search at Again Band, and you will find it. Turned is another very good song, but Kamikaze is just on a new level. They do have a lyric video for that one, so you can check it out on YouTube. And go ahead and subscribe to them so that you will be notified of when they're going on tour.
Oh, snap.
And there was one other announcement. Well, there's two announcements, and I'm brain farting because that's what I do when the camera turns on.
They come near us, we're going to have to go.
Oh, no, we've already been invited.
I know, I'm just saying.
They just don't know their tour schedule yet. But
And we will definitely have a live video there of
100%.
that. That would be actually really cool.
I'd love to be able to do a podcast with them.
Live?
Yeah.
Well, when they come here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
could probably easily
we'll do our best to make that. Oh, so that's the other part is if you like rock music, you should definitely check them out. And you can see the full-length podcast where I talk to all the band members, which was a miracle in and of itself, which is reason 1,000 why these guys are awesome, is because on one day's notice, they were all able to get together. 2 countries, 2 different states in the United States, all able to come together with a day's notice. You can watch that entire podcast on my channel, the Arate Media channel, Arate Podcast Episode 3, Rock Band Again. You can find it, and you can check out their music on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anywhere you can get music, you'll find them.
Who was the fella with the mask?
Setsei.
Okay, I like that.
Right? I know.
Just one person. It's mysterious.
He lives it. too.
I'm just saying, it's not like Slipknot where they all wear masks. It's just him.
Well, and Sensei is, obviously I didn't talk to him that much because he doesn't speak that often.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, even in the band, like when they're having private meetings, obviously he'll be chatty. Like it's not like he wants the world to believe he doesn't speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that his outward persona, which is a appropriate use of the word, his persona is silent and behind a mask. But damn, that dude can play bass.
Oh yeah.
If you follow him on Instagram, he uploads reels a lot of him covering songs on bass. Yeah, and he's very good. And his bass really, it's hardcore and kamikaze. I cannot tell you enough how good that song is. God damn it. I cannot remember the other announcement that I had. It'll come to me.
Well,
also, I want to put everybody on notice. Look for major changes to the show in June.
you heard it.
Probably late June, but you'll see some changes.
Casting from the couch.
No, that's the other one.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. That was OnlyFans. My bad.
Well, this is not related, but you just reminded me. No, I'm not going to go into that on the podcast.
Uh-oh. You might have to check it out on our premium podcast on, what is it? The AcropolisNews.com.
News Network. The AcropolisNews.com.
There you go.
Actually, yes.
AcropolisNews.com.
I'll tell you what I found out today on YouTube. Like, I did not know this. Apparently, this has been an ongoing thing for a couple of years. I just learned about it today. But that, I'd wager, will be our next premium episode.
Boom. We've already got some decent content on there, so definitely check it out.
Some of our best work, say for the last one.
The last one was probably my fault.
Not really. I was thinking about it, and you know what I think it honestly was? There's just not that much to say.
No. It's not like when you have someone who comes into office and you just get so much content, your brain, you think that you can keep going and keep going and keep going, but eventually it's going to have to stop. And look at Fox News and CNN. All of them are tanking right now. Because they don't have Trump in the White House. But the thing is, once Trump comes back in the White House, they're going to be billionaires again.
They're pushing Trump so hardcore right now, and it doesn't... They're saying no, but their eyes say yes, because Trump is money.
97 no's and a yes is a yes.
I'm going to check real quick and see if we have any fuck-ups to report.
We are the fuck-ups.
Nope, because I already corrected us both being wrong. The open your door meme.
Oh, man. I was so upset when you told me that, but I liked it. Open your door. I thought it was Walter Jr., dude.
I totally thought it was Gilbert Grape. I did. But
open the door, Gilbert.
I thought that's
I
what it was.
I could drown, Gilbert. I love it.
That's fucking funny.
That's the best part of that movie, hands down. I could have drowned, Gilbert. Ma. Wake up, Ma. Tell you what, Emmy right there, I just won. I even had a tear going. So good.
It shouldn't be that funny, but it is.
So.
We're assholes.
Yes. Definitely me.
I had another announcement. It will come to me.
That's what she said.
But this is going to be an exciting episode. Probably. It is the Average Intelligence Podcast. Well, we'll just get right into it. So, the Durham report.
Durham.
It's another report regarding Donald Trump. However, this one is a little bit different. I have with me 4 articles. I will not read all of them, but 2 of them are so short.
We'll paraphrase in a way.
Well, one of them I'm going to read because it's very short, but it is also worth reading.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is good. Now, these are from varying sources. The first one is, oddly enough, from the Washington Post. Now, full disclaimer, this is an opinion piece, but there's a lot of information that is relevant. So this is written by Mark, I'm assuming it's pronounced Thiessen, Thiessen. So Mark A. Thiessen, a columnist for the Washington Post. Opinion: the Durham report is a damning indictment of the FBI and the media. I was very shocked to see this headline attached to the Washington Post. Are you checking something over there, or
You're good.
okay? So, like I said, I'll read through this really quickly.
Sorry about
It's not very long, but I do recommend you can verify me. You can search this and find it on the Washington Post. There's the headline, so that you can know that I am not spouting the bullshit.
Washington Post. Left-leaning, center, or right?
I would say left.
Say left?
No, you know what?
It's Washington. What's the other one?
Huffington Post. Huffington Post is super left. I would still consider the Washington Post more left because this is probably more left, but this is the one that's owned by Bezos, isn't it? Or is that HuffPost?
I don't know. We're gonna research it live here on YouTube because that's what we do and that's who we are, and we care about the little man.
You know, as much shit as people give us. First of all, I do want to say something about that.
My brain is firing all cylinders. Anyway, go ahead.
So, for all the people who negatively comment on our stuff, like, first of all, thank you for engaging the algorithm.
Yes, and to all the new subscribers, we appreciate you, and hope you're liking the content, even if it's just the shorts, and you watch a whole 30 seconds of us. We appreciate it.
But, I mean, the more long-form you watch, the more hilarity you'll get, because the shorts are... I'm so constantly constrained by the time limit on shorts that it's infuriating. Okay, owned by Nash Holdings, so I don't...
Because we say a lot of truthful shit, and it's funny, too. Did you find it?
I just want to be sure, because I want to say that...
Come on, Jamie. Let's go.
Well, it said this and blah, blah, blah.
I think once I get the money together, I'm going to go down to Mexico and get... What are those that we were talking about on last podcast? Stem cells. In my neck. You think that'd be a good idea? He's so in tuned.
No, I heard you. But you're talking about stem cells in Mexico.
Anyway, did you find it?
It has a slight left lean, according to all sides.
Slight?
Yeah, so minus 2.2 from center, so...
Who the fuck judges that shit?
Oh,
it's like, what are they?
All Sides News? Oh, All Sides...
Are they a news corporation? Or are they just like a...
They're a news curator. So they take news articles and rate them on a scale of left to right. And actually, their app is pretty sweet. I've got it right here. So...
I have trouble trusting.
Well, so here's why I like it. So check it out. These are 3 articles all talking about the debt ceiling negotiation.
From the center?
There's one from the center, one from the right, and one from the left. And it gives you a scale. So
and that's all about that's all about the same thing.
Essentially, it's the same article.
That's impressive. Yeah. I like that.
And then, like, Tim Scott files to enter 2024 race. Like,
why does Tim Scott sound familiar? Was he on Joe Rogan?
Fucking no, I don't think so. But you can see, and like you'll see, it's slight left or slight right.
Tim Dillon.
Because how much can you skew this? But then there are some that are like major right. Pentagon says accounting error frees up another $3 billion. Oh, Jesus Christ!
$3 billion for Ukraine. Let's go.
Well, and I'll give you an example of this. So, this article, from the right article, the headline is "Whoops! Pentagon has another $3 billion available to support Ukraine after accounting mistake discovered." From the center, exclusive, Pentagon accounting error overvalued Ukraine weapons aid by $3 billion. From the left, $3 billion accounting error means the Pentagon can send more weapons to Ukraine.
No, we don't need that.
Oh, they're going to. But yes, actually, I'm a big fan of All Sides. So All Sides gives the Washington Post a left lean.
Bitches. I don't really care if you're left, right, down, up.
So I'm skipping the first paragraph because it just says that the Durham report was released. Quote, after years of political hype, the Durham inquiry failed to deliver, a New York Times headline blared, please. Durham's report outlines stunning abuses of power that so many journalists don't get in, underscores why public trust in the media is at an all-time low. The FBI opened its investigation of Trump, Durham writes, quote, upon receipt of unevaluated intelligence information from Australia, which agents knew was flimsy, quote, damn, that's thin, one FBI official wrote in August 2016, quote, I know, replied another, it sucks. Feel free to interject at any point. I'll kind of pause when the paragraph's done, so if you want to throw something in there.
You're good.
But they went ahead with a full investigation anyway, Durham reports, even though FBI personnel acknowledged, quote, both then and in hindsight, that they did not genuinely believe there was a probable cause to believe that the target of the Trump campaign was knowingly engaged. Or sorry, no, there was probable. Sorry, they did not genuinely believe there was probable cause to believe that the Trump campaign was knowingly engaged in clandestine intelligence activities on behalf of a foreign power. They, quote, disregarded significant exculpatory information and used investigative leads provided or funded directly or indirectly by Trump's political opponents to obtain search warrants. One FBI official falsified evidence presented to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Worst of all, the FBI failed to inform the court that the primary source behind the Steele dossier, which the agency used to secure FISA warrants, that's that Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, the secure FISA warrants, was the subject of an unresolved FBI counter-espionage investigation for ties to, wait for it, Russian intelligence. Igor, I think it's pronounced Danchenko, isn't it? Igor Danchenko, who was responsible for 80% of the information in the dossier, had a, quote, long history with Russian intelligence officers, Durham reports. While working at the Brookings Institution, he asked a colleague he thought was about to join the Obama administration whether he would, quote, be willing or able in the future to provide classified information in exchange for money. The colleague reported it to the FBI, which launched a full investigation after discovering that Danchenko, quote, had been identified as an associate of two FBI counterintelligence subjects and, quote, known Russian intelligence officers. That investigation was left unresolved because the FBI incorrectly believed Danchenko had returned to Russia. Moving on.
Is he from the Russian space station?
Danchenko? I doubt it.
It's Danchenko. I'm just kidding, I don't know.
The FBI, quote, the FBI never, quote, attempted to resolve the prior Danchenko espionage matter before hiring him as a paid informant in the Trump investigation. Durham writes, indeed, the Trump investigators brushed off concerns raised by officials vetting Danchenko that he was connected to Russian intelligence and falsely claimed that there was no, quote, derogatory information about him and that he, quote, had not been a prior subject of an FBI investigation, which, if you remember from the previous paragraph, is not true. They gave him a letter of immunity, paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars, and kept that information from the FISA court.
And whose name is that again?
Who, Danchenko?
There you go. I've heard his name all over Congress.
It was possible, Durham writes, that the quote, the intelligence Danchenko was providing was in whole or in part Russian disinformation. Durham attempted to prosecute Danchenko for lying to investigators about his sources, but Danchenko was not found guilty. In other words, the FBI knowingly relied on a source who had been under investigation as a possible Russian spy to investigate whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. You can make it up. You can't make it up. Think of what that means. It was the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee that funded the Steele dossier, which relied on a Russian with suspected ties to Russian intelligence. The FBI then included the dossier as part of the materials it used to investigate Trump, paralyzing our country, undermining a newly elected president for 2 years, while costing tens of millions of dollars, all over what ended up being a conspiracy theory. You might think journalism would want to get to the bottom of how they were duped so that they could repair the reputational damage to themselves and their industry. Apparently not. And make no mistake, that damage is severe and has had deep repercussions for our democracy. An Edelman poll in 2021 found that 59% of Americans believe, quote, journalists and reporters are purposefully trying to mislead people by saying things they know are false or gross exaggerations. A New York Times Siena College poll last October found that 84% of respondents view the media as a threat to democracy, including 59% who agreed that it is a, quote, major threat. Indeed, more Americans said the media is a major threat to democracy than said Trump is. This collapse in trust, particularly among the 74 million Americans who voted for Trump, directly contributed to the events of January 6, 2021. Why did Trump supporters storm the Capitol? Because they believed Trump's false claims that the election was being stolen. And why did they believe him? If the media lied to them about Trump's collusion with Russia, why should they trust reports that Trump's election claims were false?
Well, that and the mail-in ballots, like that shit.
We're not talking about that because
I know, but I'm
two.
just saying, like, because, like, you know, the town hall. I don't know if you've watched it, but you should if you haven't.
I haven't watched the whole thing.
The lady kept saying that there was no evidence of any election fraud, and the only thing is, I'm not saying there's election fraud on a mass scale, but there could have been small. There's always small amounts of fraud.
Yeah, but not enough.
But the thing is, not enough to change an outcome.
Not enough to turn an
But
election.
to say, without a doubt, there is no evidence of fraud, that's not true.
Which is actually another really good argument for the electoral college system, because if you had just a straight popular vote, then theoretically,
oh god,
well,
we
theoretically
ended up with fucking Hillary.
Well, no. Theoretically, one person committing voter fraud could tip an election. Theoretically. Depending on how you set it up.
Yeah.
But a popular vote's a popular vote. So unless you have some sort of margin that they have to win by before it goes to Congress, then theoretically one person could commit voter fraud and tip an election.
I don't understand the need. I understand that, like, we were going through a once in a lifetime pandemic per se. You know, at least that's what I'm told.
Maybe.
I mean, I've had it twice. Anyway, so I'm still here. So it's funny that we needed mail-in ballots when we already had something in place, absentee ballots. But the thing is, the funny thing is about absentee ballots, you literally, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this, but you have to mail in your ID in order to get an absentee ballot to vote, because if you can't make it in, you have to prove who you are.
You at very least have to be registered to vote, which does require.
Well, they're not just going to send you an absentee just because you're registered.
Correct.
They will send it to you if you require it, and they will ask for proof of who you are. We should always be asking for proof of who people are so they can vote. That's a right in this country, and in order to have a right in this country, you have to be a citizen. So therefore...
I know what you're saying, but
I'm talking voting rights.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not saying you don't have. I'm not going to say you don't have human rights just because you're not a citizen. For any idiots out there, you know. Like,
dude. You got to be careful because, like, I know.
And
what
I hate
you
to
meant.
say it like that, but the thing is, it's just like so. And he was just making sure you guys understood in case someone was like, "Oh no, he's saying this."
Did he just say they didn't have
exactly.
rights?
So he was making me explain.
No, I'm actually of the belief that the vast majority of rights guaranteed by the Constitution do not require citizenship. Voting is one of the few that does.
No, because the Constitution.
Well, it lays out the
it lays out rights by God.
Well, except for the right to vote,
Creator, or however you want to say it. But no.
Yeah. It's not an inalienable right.
Right. So we'll continue.
There's only one. Durham's report lays bare what trust in the media lies in tatters. Why trust in the media lies in tatters. If in 2024 Americans decide that journalists are a greater threat to our democracy than a second Trump term, they may have no one to blame but themselves. And holy shit.
You guys did have a teenager pretty much attacked and ostracized. He goes by the name of Sick Nan Man. You might have to mix a few letters. Nick Sandman from the CNN debacle. And it was like anybody with a fucking brain could have watched the video and realized what was going on.
That's just it.
The guy just all opened his face, and it's
let's do a little.
And which the guy wasn't hurting him, but Nick could have walked away at any time. Somebody's annoying you can just always walk away. But with a crazy mob like that, it's dangerous to do anything.
Well, let's think for a second. Let's try to think in the past. Let's say since 2016, as the guideline. How many things can we think of in just a few minutes that we know for a fact the media lied about? CNN got caught lying about the severity of a hurricane. That photo went... Oh, no, it happened twice.
ABC lied about... it was in the news for a while. And
I'm not talking about mistakes either. I'm talking about...
No, it wasn't. I mean... Okay, I don't know if that was a mistake or not. I can't.
Well, CNN purposefully...
CNN has, like, the record.
Yeah, CNN intentionally discolored a photo of Joe Rogan to make him appear ill.
Yeah, it made him look, like, really gray.
Well, here's the best part about that photo. Like, you can't write this shit. I'd seen that photo before. I knew it was fake.
Yeah, because we watched his Instagram. And it's like, huh.
No, but before Joe had shown the comparison, I'd seen that video. It's a very common photo. So they didn't even go to the trouble of getting an obscure photo.
They did that shit to Trump.
Some dipshit intern literally went on Google Images, picked like one of the top 3, and just, here you go.
Like, made him look like a dead fish.
Listen, to quote Lewis Black, if you're going to lie to me, do it better. And then they had CNN anchors and waiters on their knees talking about how flooded it was. And then in the fucking video, this isn't a doctored photo. There were photos that were going on. This was a fucking video. 2 guys crossed the street behind him in like not even ankle deep water. It's like, that's not even in the political spectrum, which don't even get us started on the virus of mysterious origins.
I mean, that and even like anything to do with Trump. Like, they just went so hard.
Well, and here's where the true harm. I think if the media had actually just been fair, I think Trump would have been a lot less popular because they created an enemy.
And the thing is, as a businessman, the number one thing he thrives off of is winning.
Well, it's not just that. So the media has, to quote the columnist, like he said it, the media shot themselves in the foot because they decided on day one, and you can go back if you feel so inclined. It was one of the first things we talked about on this podcast, and we also called the mail-in ballot thing. Because I flat out said if they're going to do unsolicited mail-in ballots, Biden's going to win.
Pick up the phone. We called that shit.
If for no other reason, I love DBZ Abridged because I got that line from them. So, well, somebody better pick up that phone. What? Because I called that shit.
That would have been great for a line on Space Ghost. Because I could hear that.
Listen, HBO Max, you got to bring back Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. But, like, I know you brought back the series and put the episodes on. No, we want new shit. You can do it. You used archived footage anyway. Just do it again.
Brack.
Or CG it. No, don't
Barnyard
CG.
animal.
Oink!
Quack.
Zorak, upside down.
Sing it, Fuzzy.
I'm a little deep on Jordan style.
It smells like
asparagus and cabbage.
Greatest album ever. Backyard Barbecue by Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Musical barbecue.
I love you, baby. I love the way that you walk. I love you. Okay, yeah, I know the words. I just don't want to sing it.
All right, now I'm going to check Politico's leaning.
Oh, Politico. They're definitely right.
Really?
No, they're left. They're very left.
I figured they were more center, but...
No comments, you son of a beaches.
Well, I only say that because oftentimes... I view Politico as a fairly... Yeah, barely leaning left, which I would agree with. Because Politico was where I got that argument about how Biden's bringing back the Trump-era asylum rule.
Speaking of Trump, I know you haven't...
We're talking about him.
I know you haven't watched the town hall, but there is a segment... Well, not a segment, but a clip in there when a question is asked of him from the audience, and most of the audience was chosen by him. Dude, it is hilarious. Like,
well, they're all Republican primary voters.
Well, the reason they did that was because he wouldn't have gone on there. They said, we'll do this, and then you can choose your audience. So anyway, but like one of the voters asked, in 2024, what are you gonna do for the economy? And he just goes, drill, baby, drill. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, so drilling oil is bad, right?
Well, no, not necessarily.
I'm just being a smartass.
Okay.
Follow with me.
Okay. It's very bad.
So how about children mining cobalt and lithium?
Oh, we've already... Dude, I don't know if you've looked at the comments in that...
They crack me up. They're like, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay for a 6-year-old to be in a fucking lithium mine. And they're just dirty and full of, like, chemicals on them.
I couldn't believe
that
shit.
Not chemicals, whatever that... Yeah.
Thankfully, somebody else was just, like, tearing into them. It's like, what? Well, they have to make money. What?
That's the problem with a lot of you. Listen, if you leftists really want to actually, like, keep your classification leftism, whatever you want to call it, because you're not liberals. Like, classic liberal, no, but like I don't know what the fuck you are. Anyway, you're a leftist. Just own it. But at the same time, like do a little bit of research. It might help you out a little bit.
Well, technically, leftists should be all for that because Stalin was a big proponent of slave labor. So.
I mean, I'm sorry, but any left-leaning figure in power in the past
is a big fan
millennia
of slave labor.
Is a fan of slave labor.
Not
and on top
indentured
of that,
servitude.
Genocide.
Slave labor.
And indentured servitude is also bad. Let's just get that out of the way.
Just on a scale.
No scale. It's bad.
No, right. Slavery's worse.
No.
Like that's like saying yes, getting shot in the leg is bad.
Well, that's like saying this tastes bad, but this tastes worse. They both taste bad.
Correct.
But I get the emphasis.
Yeah. So technically, leftists being into slavery is technically on par.
Tetanus.
Lots of it. Anyway, so Politico. This one I'm not going to read the whole thing, but once again, just to show my receipt.
Wow, that really took a turn.
It's from Politico. Takeaways from the Durham report on the Trump-Russia probe. And keep in mind, the last two sources, one had about a middle left-leaning bias. This has a slight left-leaning bias. But this I just had some highlights that I found interesting. So this article is literally just a list of things that highlights from the report. Durham brought criminal charges against just 3 people. He lost both cases that went to trial. In a third case, an ex-FBI lawyer named Kevin Kleinsmith pled guilty to altering an email that was used to support a surveillance application. Kleinsmith was not sentenced to any prison time. This one you're going to have to read between the lines. He, being Durham, added that the law doesn't prohibit, quote, all unseemly or unethical conduct that political campaigns might undertake for tactical advantage. You mean kind of like allegedly using campaign money to pay hush money to a woman who says that Trump diddled her pooter. So that's criminal, but lying about an FBI investigation isn't. Okay, just
pointing it out.
Like, just tying into what we said. Neither is good, but on a scale of what sucks more, I think lying about a hooker is less severe than lying on, a surveillance application.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what's the importance of this? What is it going to do? Like, the importance of the Stormy Daniel bullshit. Like, that's
nothing. It's
so it's like who, like, at this point, his base knows everything, and they don't fucking
care. Don't care.
And I'm not even saying, like, I'm not one of his base. I'll vote for the guy just because the thing is, I mean, I'm sorry, I paid a hell of a lot less in gas, and my electric bill was extremely smaller.
Made a lot more in crypto.
I made a lot more crypto, had a thriving business going. So I'm just saying, like, I will take that any day. But the thing is, like, when they say that we were so close to war and this and that, and I'm like, bro, we've never been closer to war right now.
A legitimate world war.
Because we keep funding something that we don't need to be funding. We're literally paying, I think it was like, I believe we've paid out, about $120 billion to Ukraine?
I'd have to look, I'm not sure. I agree with you, but for different reasons.
Well, hold on, but let me finish this. So we're paying 120, 130, whatever billion, how much ever we are. The European nations that are bordering Ukraine have only paid like 20 billion. Why are we taking care of the bulk amount of that when the nations that are around should be worried about this? Because if war breaks, true war, I'm not saying it's not war, but I'm just saying, like, I'm talking, like you said, world war. If that pops up, I mean, we're going to fucking see shit that, those countries that are around, they're going to feel the effects first.
Well, Poland's getting ready to fucking crack some heads from what I understand.
Really?
Well, Poland, I'm not hugely well versed in the history of Poland, like its entire history, but World War II.
They're pretty badass.
Well, post World War II. Here's another thing, and people forget this. Oh, what did Sosa say?
Sosa, what we already knew.
Yeah.
I just said Biden. Trump and the Durham report, what we know.
Yeah. So people forget this about Poland, is everybody talks about how Germany invades Poland in 1939. But even history books leave this out. I've seen them. The Soviet Union invaded at the same time from the other side. They literally met in the middle and split the country.
You know what they said when they met? Hello from the other side. Just kidding. Anyway.
That's your
That was not funny.
That's your Poland and this one's mine.
Look at this polar bear. He dances for coke.
Look at this border, Stalin. Look at it.
Look at my boobies, Jack.
And it's also worth noting that, and when I say cavalry, I mean real cavalry, like on horses and shit. Polish cavalry led a charge against a German tank division.
In World War II?
Yeah, it did not.
Boy, I tell you what. Boom.
Fucking, but.
Horse everywhere. Well, I tell you what, man. They're just sitting there and there's horse meat flying everywhere.
But.
Horse butt.
I mean, that's the definition of a lost cause, but they're literally defending their home.
Just like this podcast, you can catch us every day. Just kidding. Every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. most times. Sometimes we skip a few and then we skip around. The Average Intelligence Podcast. Back to you, Jake.
Yeah, but because of its history of being fucked hard, Poland is...
No Vaseline.
Poland is the definition, along with Israel probably, of never fucking again. And, well, especially after the Cold War.
That sounds like a trans. Don't cut it off, guys.
Well, and I do believe... I'm not even going to go down that route, but... The Soviet states... yeah, Poland is very, very interested in not being occupied in any way, shape, or form. So, Poland, badasses. I've never been, but I want to.
Oh,
that's Japan.
Sorry. Hi.
I used to know how to say hi in Polish, but I've forgotten. Hi, Pol. That's a terrible joke. And the prosecutors must... He added that the law doesn't prohibit, quote, all unseemly or unethical conduct that political campaigns might undertake for tactical advantage, and that prosecutors must prove criminal intent to secure convictions. That last line appears to reference the scores of allegations Republicans have leveled at Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign and its outside allies, except there was criminal intent. Why else? Riddle me this, and this is a legitimate question. This is not rhetorical. So if you are a pro-Hillary supporter and you believe that she was in the right, explain to me what possible reason could you have to have a private server in which to store emails, unless you were doing something unsavory.
You know what I find unsavory? Unseasoned steak.
Oh, I disagree. Not if you cook it right.
No,
if you smoke it.
Actually, if you have the right cut. I'm sorry, cut matters more than any type of cooking method. Okay.
For example, like I almost always season a sirloin,
yeah.
But a ribeye, nah.
Dude, I'm telling you what, ribeyes, like, I tell you, as a kid, eating ribeyes, not ribeyes, but steak in general, I never ate the fat. I did not know what I was missing for the longest time, and I'm telling you what, ribeye fat, certain fat in the center and whatnot.
When it's not too big, but that's where it gets its flavor from.
Man, it's so
good.
It's
good.
But, all right, what was the last point you were talking about? I had something to add to that.
Oh, Hillary's private server.
Okay, so Hillary's private server. Going back to the town hall, this host really buried herself. She was talking about the documents that he had, and she was saying how they were.
That part.
Well, the thing is, he was raided. If they would have found something, he'd be in prison by now. Just saying. But anyway, she was. He was like, well, I mean, you guys don't talk about Joe Biden. He has 18,000. I'm pretty sure he was.
What did he say next to his?
No, they were in the floorboard of his freaking Corvette inside of his garage.
That's right.
Just free. And the thing is, also Barack Obama took stuff when he left. So did who else? I think he said.
Oh, we all know everything.
Exactly, but the thing is, though, the president has the power to declassify, correct?
To a certain extent, yes.
But for the most part of everything that he probably took,
it would be a
a
fairly simple matter.
I'm going to assume that all the people he surrounded himself with, because I would assume that's what's best about Trump. I'm not going to say Trump's good in itself. I'm saying that he generally, he did put the thing in charge of the Department of Education. Who was that? Betsy DeVoe?
Yeah, well, actually, I disagree with you. I think Trump is terrible at hiring people.
You think so?
DeSantis is much better at staffing.
I tell you what, though, I think DeSantis. I'm pretty sure other people have heard it, but supposedly DeSantis is going to make his bid for running in 2024, and I think it's a huge mistake. I don't think it's a huge mistake. I'm just saying, like, Trump is going to bury him because Trump right now, with everything going on, of the "I told you so's," he's gaining popularity.
Well, kind of. So here's basically what as of right now,
break it down.
Well, with the information we have right now, I think DeSantis. I think Trump will do better in a Republican primary, but I think DeSantis would
overall.
Yeah. But I think DeSantis would do much better in a general election against Joe Biden.
I don't think either of them are going to do well in the general election because both of them, like the left, there's nothing that they can't get behind DeSantis because of the whole books, banning books.
Oh, the left?
And then and then
on
top
of that, the left's not going to get behind a Republican.
I know, but what I know what you're saying because he'll bring in probably. DeSantis would probably bring in more
independents.
Independents, thank you.
And Republicans that just never felt warm and fuzzy about Trump. Now, those same Republicans would probably vote for Trump to prevent Biden. And unfortunately, this is very, very par for the Republican Party because they are dividing themselves when the Republicans, if the Republican Party stood united.
Oh my flipping gosh.
There would be no question, but it's what happened in 2022 all over again. There was the Republican Party.
And we called that shit too.
And then, well, not really. We called the red wave, but then we identified the why. But the why was abortion was a big issue. We called that part.
I thought there was going to be a red wave.
Well, there was, and then Roe v. Wade got overturned, and I went, well, fuck. There was that, but that was that.
Scoob! I can't fucking wait. Damn you.
But
Scuba Steve, damn you. Oh yeah.
But Trump, for better or worse, has unintentionally divided the Republican Party because now you have the Trump squad, which I've even said Trump could run his own political party at this point. They would be orange.
The Orange Party. I love it.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it would be. I think that'd be hilarious. But...
the Oranges. That's his new fucking singing group.
Well, no, it would literally be the Trump... Or let's be real. It would be the MAGA Party. And they'd have to change their hats to orange, though.
Maggots. Just kidding.
Maggots, maggots.
Maggots. MAGA-ass maggot.
Now, come on, maggots. Turn out on Election Day and vote for Daddy Trump.
We're going to lower your gas prices. So I can't do his voice for some reason. Was that something funny?
No, I'm trying.
Would you like to share with the class?
No, I don't know what they're talking about.
All right.
But yeah, so the Republican Party is divided, and I hate to say it, I'm not sure. Now, granted, the Durham, all the stuff that's coming out would help if the media was actually unbiased.
YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Just going to say that there because, like...
If all this information was readily available and you could prove, which they won't because it's it's either so entrenched in the deep state that we'd never find out or it is in fact not true, but the point is we'll never know because they're never going to release the information anyway. So you'll essentially have a repeat of 2020, except that it comes down to those battleground states. And I'm just not sure who would win at this point in time. Like, if the election was today, I think Trump might win.
He's not going to win.
Well, maybe.
Period.
Maybe.
No Republican's going to win. It's going to be another Democrat. Just wait. 2024. Just wait.
Well,
it's going to be Democrat.
I think DeSantis would win.
No. If they still have the mail-in ballots, it's going to be Democrat.
Oh, no. Yeah, they got to get rid of that.
Because the thing is, there's, you know, like, I don't fucking care what any of them say. Like, that's too easy to defraud.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that back up because I wanted to make this point earlier and I forgot. So, it is fraud in the sense that the fact is, and people did this, like, it was a strategy that was talked about Democrat campaigners. Go to an apartment building, knock on doors, and say, are you going to vote? No, I don't really know. Well, tell you what, if you can just sign here, we'll even fill it out for you if you want.
Oh, okay.
How is that not ballot harvesting?
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that much more people are compliant than ever in history, and that's a dangerous thing. You know, if you don't have just, you know, critical thinking when it comes to situations, you're done for.
Well,
like,
it's hard.
I just don't understand it. It doesn't seem like you need this or that. And it's like, okay, well, what if the government decides to walk around and just start killing people one by one, and you don't have any weapons or any ways to defend yourself?
All they would have to do is convince people that, well, this person was a bigot, so we're going to...
Yeah, and the thing is, at this day and age, who was it? Denzel Washington. He was in an interview or something like that, and he's like, you don't even have to be true. You just have to be first. He says, just get it out there. It doesn't matter who it hurts. Got to be first.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, that's actually an older interview.
Oh, very older.
So, like, it's very, very...
But the thing is, it's more prevalent today than it is ever. And that's why that stuff is, like, making its ways on, like, TikTok and Instagram.
Do you remember when a reporter would lose their job for getting something factually incorrect?
Weird. And nowadays, they don't even apologize.
No. Now they have to literally get called out by the public, not the news media, not journalists.
Yeah, not their bosses.
Yeah.
That's a problem, you know, like, but yet, I mean, I'm just going to put this out there, but all of these news media organizations, pretty much 99% of them are all owned by either one or two companies that control so many different types of companies in this country. So it's like, doesn't matter what you're watching, you're misinformed. Sorry. But we're not bought here at the Average Intelligence Podcast. We tell you everything from our news sources, which are probably from those sources.
But
just saying,
we are for sale.
We are for sale. Yes.
And that we are not biased about.
If you will pay off my house and make me debt free, I tell you what, I will
vote for Kamala. Oh, sorry, nobody's paid us yet.
Oh, no national pressure.
Actually, I would never say vote for Kamala Harris. You will know I'm lying.
I would rather say vote for Biden than that.
That's true. Yeah, I would say. So anyway,
I smoked weed in high school, but I didn't inhale. Actually, she didn't say that. Who said they smoked but they didn't inhale?
Was that? Oh, that wasn't Obama. Was that George W. or Clinton? I think it was Clinton.
It definitely wasn't Junior.
No, I think it was Clinton.
Yeah, right. Hey, Hillary.
I got out there and told them I didn't inhale.
I can't remember if it was South Park or but they had no, it was Family Guy, and they had George W. on there, and he was in his treehouse. He's like, "Don't make me do stuff." All right, continue.
Fallout for a key surveillance authority. Lurking in the report and the FBI's response to it is a key fear for law enforcement and the intelligence community that Durham's withering conclusions about the Bureau's handling of the Trump-Russia probe will prompt Congress to kill off a key surveillance authority when it expires in December. Durham does not mention the so-called Section 702 authority explicitly, but he does say he is not recommending anything, quote, that would curtail the scope of reach of FISA or the FBI's investigative activities in a time of aggressive and hostile terrorist groups and foreign powers. Applications to surveil former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor Carter Page, including two which the Justice Department has conceded were inaccurate because a key source disavowed comments included in them, were not issued under Section 702, but broad suspicion on the part of Republicans about politicization politicization of the FBI's intelligence work has put the renewal of that authority in doubt and prompted many GOP lawmakers to call for reforms that go well beyond the expiring provision. So not for nothing, that actually sounds like a good thing to expire to me, but leave it to Politico to be like, no, we need this. The FBI's response to the Durham report said the Bureau shares those concerns. Sure they do. The Bureau shares those concerns and stressed in a footnote that the FBI is under new management. Is it, though?
You gotta do the face.
Quote, all senior executives overseeing the Crossfire Hurricane investigation have left the FBI as a result of termination, resignation, or retirement. FBI General Counsel Jason Jones wrote, using the code name for the Trump-Russia probe, which is that Crossfire Hurricane. That's the code name. So let me get this straight. A bunch of people at the FBI were fired, resigned, or retired after this kind of fallout. Now, I'm no expert, nor do I live by the sea, but something smells fishy as fuck.
Oh! Who runs Congress and as corrupt as can be?
Let's go, Brandon!
Oh, jeez. There's no getting away from any of this. Like we're trapped.
This isn't even tinfoil.
I'm stuck in a pit of hippopotamus shit!
Like, this doesn't even require the tinfoil hat. You don't have to stretch it that far to be like...
We gotta bring that back. I've got a hat and tinfoil, so I'll make one for next time.
I actually have a beanie on my Amazon.
Oh, actually, yeah. We have a tinfoil hat shirt.
We do. It's on our...
Check it out on the Teespring
site. Link should be in the description.
I believe it's in the description.
It's new.
And also, we have our wonderful chimpanzee in the suit right here on a t-shirt as well.
Which actually...
And it says average intelligence. You can't get better than that. You don't even have to be affiliated with the channel for that to be cool.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's just average.
Monkeys are cool.
Which actually, there's some updates on the merchandise side that'll be coming fairly soon.
Hopefully.
Well, not hopefully, but... Anyway.
Yeah.
Who played ball with Durham and who didn't? Durham's mission...
Ken Griffey Jr.
Durham's mission has been politically fraught from the outset, with many Democrats and current and former intelligence agency professionals deeply skeptical of his inquiry. Some publicly questioned his skill set to assess judgment made by the intelligence officials about the intentions of Russians and other foreign governments. Durham's team interviewed former CIA Director John Brennan in August 2020, Clinton campaign foreign policy advisor and Biden National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in November 2021, Clinton campaign chair John Podesta, in January 2022, and Clinton herself in May 2022, the report shows. Among those who turned Durham down, former FBI Director James Comey, former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, the senior FBI agent for national security matters William Priestap, private investigator Glenn Simpson, Internet executive Rodney Joffe, or Joffe.
My name's Joff.
My name, yeah.
My name's Jeff. Oh, so his name's Joffe?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Hefe, man.
It inked in my mouth!
That's such a good movie.
It really is.
If anyone's not aware, that's 22nd Jump Street, right?
22 Jump Street.
22 Jump Street, sorry.
Which, best joke, it's not the best joke, but it's my favorite joke, is the Plainview red herrings. Like, fuck me. I'm in the theater and I just lost my shit.
You know, what really grinds my gears is when you're in a movie watching a funny scene and like there's like an off-ball joke that like a lot of people don't get. I'm like, I understand my brain works differently, but I'm like, how did you not get that? Like, what movie were we in? We both were crying, laughing.
Shit, what movie was that?
No one caught it.
We were the only ones laughing. And, I mean, we weren't chuckling. We were just...
Actually, I think it was at a scene we weren't supposed to be laughing at. It was the Batman scene where he he inflated the things, and he just looked like a Michelin. He looked like the Michelin Man.
Or I thought Jesse Pinkman immediately.
Oh my gosh! Where he's like.
That's what I thought. No, that's happened to me a lot though. Like
actually, I would say that's actually happened a few times in the theaters.
Most of the time when it happens to us, it's because we have an inside joke, or I'm just. Yeah. My goal when we saw the Batman was to make him laugh as much as possible, and I'm just literally, you could literally interchange this dialogue between this movie and Twilight, and it would fit.
The Batman was a damn good movie because something was in the way. Something in the way.
The part that I laughed my ass off at that you didn't was when he got shot with the shotgun.
No, that was hilarious. Because he just didn't he get thrown?
It was the way he did it. Like, he must have been shot low because he flew back ass first.
Oh.
Which technically would happen, but you don't see it in movies. It was actually refreshing because it was one thing I give the movie credit for. It's no, when people get shot in this movie, that's what happens. If you get shot at that close range with a shotgun, you're going to move. And he was wearing armor, obviously, but that's still gonna hurt like a motherfucker. And he just and I'm like, yeah. God. So Rodney Giff and Clinton campaign lawyer Mark Elias, although Elias did testify as a witness for Durham during the trial of Michael Sussman. The dude's name is Sussman.
Just saying. Fucking sus.
Pete? No. Peter Strzok?
Stroke.
Probably. Peter
Stroke.
Peter Stroke.
You did this to me, Hamburger, or McBurger Town.
I could drown, Hillary. That's what people said to Hillary after she was finished waterboarding them. I could drown, Hillary.
Don't say anything against her. You'll go swimming with the fishies. Please don't kill me.
Peter Stork, a senior FBI agent suing over his firing by the Bureau, agreed to discuss one aspect of the Trump-Russia probe, but declined a broader interview after he drowned. That last part I added. He is so...
He drowned!
He drowned, Gilbert. An emotional FBI agent. Now, this one is quite telling.
We all are a little emotional.
The report describes a dramatic moment in one of Durham's interviews. During the 2016 campaign, the U.S. intelligence community learned of Russian intelligence analysis alleging that Clinton's team planned to stir up scandal about Trump's Russia ties to distract the public from her email server problems.
No.
Now, this is a report.
No.
The unverified Russian claim has been previously disclosed, and Democrats have derided it as incendiary disinformation from a foreign adversary that was seeking to meddle in the elections. In 2016, then CIA Director John Brennan briefed then President Barack Obama on it. However, according to Durham, most of the Crossfire Hurricane personnel he discussed it with hadn't seen it, including the probe's original supervisory special agent. After reviewing the Russian intelligence with Durham's team, the agent became, quote, visibly upset and emotional, left the interview room with his counsel, which is lawyer.
You know Trump's an agent.
And subsequently returned to state emphatically that he had never been apprised of it. According to the report, the agent, quote, expressed a sense of betrayal that no one had informed him of the intelligence. He added that regardless of its veracity, someone should have told him about it. James Baker, the FBI's former general counsel, also said he first learned of the intelligence from Durham's team. He said that if he had known about it during the probe, he would have been more skeptical about Christopher Steele's reports and about the allegations of a secret channel between Trump, the Trump Organization, and a Russian bank. Durham said other FBI agents would also have been more skeptical about the Trump-Russia allegations had they seen the intelligence, which would have, quote, reduced the risk of reputational damage both to the targets of the investigation as well as ultimately to the FBI. Durham's team asked Clinton herself about this intelligence. She called it, quote, really sad. Quote, I get it. You have to go down every rabbit hole, she added, saying it looked like Russian disinformation. The top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Mark Warner, Democrat from Virginia, later called it, quote, unverified Russian rumant, or rumor intelligence. Durham stressed that his team also hadn't verified it. By the way, this article from Politico was written by it was written by Josh Gerstein and Betsy Woodruff Swan with contributions by Kyle Cheney. Politico. So we've thus gone through two left-leaning sources, albeit slightly left-leaning, that point out to at least some form of fishiness in this steak dinner.
I smell fish.
You should shower. Why am I...
It's so hot in here.
Oh, this next one. So this next source is an undeniably right source because this source says that it's right.
Daily Wire.
Yeah, so there's no guesswork, which it's also worth noting, of the 4 sources that I have, this is the only one that gives you a link to read the entire report. Go.
Open this door, it's hot.
Why is it foggy?
Is it foggy?
No, the camera.
I don't believe it's foggy.
It's like blurry.
Go here. Let me do a little smudge. It's just the quality.
Oh, it's just, okay.
It looks like it's bad because on here, look.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Let me get my microphone. It's just extremely hot in here.
Okay. I'll try to do my, I wish I could get Ben Shapiro AI to read this.
Dude.
Special Counsel John Durham, who is tasked by former Attorney General Bill Barr to examine the propriety of the FBI's investigation of President Trump, released a 320-page report Monday that found that the FBI had no evidence to support a Trump-Russia scandal when it began its investigation and found, quote, sobering differences in how it approached the Trump probe compared to other politically sensitive investigations.
I still think you're a fucking loser.
Which one of us still has his business, Alex?
Yeah, well.
Frogs are gay.
I was a co-host the other day on Daily Crowder.
Was he really?
Yeah. I was.
Yeah. It said the FBI immediately opened a full investigation based on a brief note from an Australian diplomat recounting that he had met with George Papadopoulos, a volunteer with the Trump campaign, in which he mentioned that Russia might have information negative to Hillary Clinton at the time of the opening of Crossfire Hurricane. The FBI did not possess any intelligence showing that anyone associated with the Trump campaign was in contact with Russian intelligence officers at any point during the campaign, the Durham report said. The probe later relied on the Steele dossier, which came from a circular loop of people with little insight into Russia, except that some of them had been on the FBI's radar for possible misconduct or ties to Russian intelligence in their own right, it said. The FBI knew it was nothing but rumor and speculation, it said. Upon receipt of unevaluated intelligence information from Australia, the FBI swiftly opened the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, in particular at the direction of Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, Deputy Assistant Director for Counterintelligence Peter Strzok, opened Crossfire Hurricane immediately. Strzok, at a minimum, had pronounced hostile feelings toward Trump.
I'm 12.
Check my birth certificate.
He's got paperwork. Dude, how he says that.
He's got documentation.
He's got credentials.
That's funny. That's the same stipulations that some states had for voting.
Just saying.
So without any significant review of its own intelligence databases, collection and examination of any relevant intelligence from other U.S. intelligence entities, interviews of witnesses essential to understand the raw information it had received, or using any of the standard analytical tools typically employed by the FBI in evaluating raw intelligence, the report concluded. They started this investigation with essentially nothing but somebody, a friend of a friend of a friend. I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend.
Heard it from a friend who you've been messing around.
Well, Trump's been messing around. With the Russians. Quote, had it done so, the FBI would have learned that their own experienced Russia analysts had no information about Trump being involved with Russian leadership officials, nor were others in sensitive positions at the CIA, the NSA, and the Department of State aware of such evidence concerning the subject. In addition, FBI records prepared by Stroke in February and March 2017 show that at the time of the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI had no information in its holdings indicating that any time during the campaign, anyone in the Trump campaign had been in contact with any Russian intelligence officials.
Stroke.
In the 18 months leading up to the 2016 election, the FBI was required to deal with a number of proposed investigations that had the potential of affecting the election. In each of those instances, the FBI moved with considerable caution. In one such matter, FBI headquarters and department officials required defensive briefings to be provided to Clinton and other officials or candidates who appear to be the targets of foreign interference, it said. In another, the FBI elected to end an investigation after one of its longtime and valuable CHSs went beyond what was authorized and made an improper and possibly illegal financial contribution to the Clinton campaign on behalf of a foreign entity as a precursor to a much larger donation being contemplated. And in a third, the Clinton Foundation matter, both senior FBI and department officials placed restrictions on how those matters were to be handled, such that essentially no investigative activities occurred for months leading up to the election. These examples are also markedly different from the FBI's actions with respect to other highly significant intelligence it received from a trusted foreign source pointing to a Clinton campaign plan to vilify Trump by tying him to Vladimir Putin so as to divert attention from her own concerns regarding her use of a private email server. And then, honestly, I was going to read this whole thing, but, you can read this. It's on Daily Wire. The dailywire.com, which this article should be free. The headline is, read it. Durham report makes, quote, sobering findings about FBI's handling of Trump-Russia probe. Like I said, this is they make no fuss about the fact that they're right-leaning. Is that a cat?
No, it's pouring outside.
Oh, is it? Okay. It finally made it down here.
Oh, I forgot. I opened up the back door, so that's what she said. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, because it's fucking ungodly hot in here.
All right. And now, I'm just curious. So actually, I thought I had two left. I thought I had 2 left and 2 right, but apparently I had 3 left and 1 right.
3 no's and a yes is a yes.
Which, by the way, unless you know the Durham, because I kept forgetting the name Durham
I
report.
thought he was about to say, I keyed.
So this is from the New York Times, which again is a lean left.
A left leaning?
Yep. This one's about the same as Washington Post. So it says. So yeah, I literally thought I did a better job getting a center, a right, and 2 lefts, but apparently I got 3 lefts and a right.
Well, I mean, if that goes to show you anything,
and again, you can't see this, but it's the New York Times. The title of the article is, After Years of Political Hope, the Durham Inquiry Failed to Deliver.
Weird.
Well, so the other thing, if you don't know the Durham report by name and you search things like Trump report, it won't. Your Google results won't bring up the Durham report.
Use DuckDuckGo.
Well,
you might not even find it either because it's been severely pushed out.
If you search for the Durham report, you will find things. But if you can't remember the name of it and you just search Trump report, you still get stuff from the Mueller report, the Steele dossier, all that stuff, and Trump's raid and all that.
Yeah. His
arraignment, rather, not. So I'm definitely not going to read you this entire article, but I will say this is a 3-page article, and it is the definition of doublespeak, because most of it is just I'm going to try to find you an example. Predictably, this is multiple sentences where it essentially says nothing. Predictably, the report's actual content, it contained no major new revelations, and it's accused the FBI of, quote, confirmation bias rather than making a more explosive conclusion of political bias, made scant difference in parts of the political arena. Mr. Trump and many of his loyalists issued statements threatening it as treating it as vindication of their claims that the Russia inquiry involved far more extravagant wrongdoing. That's 3 sentences that essentially said nothing of value. But that's not one of the excerpts that I'm going to treat you to. These are the excerpts. Now, keep in mind, left-leaning, and it says the Durham inquiry failed to deliver. Mr. Durham delivered a report that scolded the FBI but failed to live up to the expectations of supporters of Donald J. Trump that he would uncover a politically motivated, quote, deep state conspiracy. He charged no high-level FBI, actually he did, he charged no high-level FBI or intelligence officials with a crime and acknowledged in a footnote that Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign did nothing prosecutable either. That's not entire. No, but notice the word choice.
Better be careful what you're saying. Well, there's police sirens out there.
Notice the word choice in this article, though. He said that Durham said the Hillary Clinton's campaign did nothing prosecutable. He didn't say the word wrong. He said prosecutable, which also doesn't mean legal. It just means they can't prosecute.
You would think, though, having certain documents on your computer would be some type of, like...
but they didn't have the evidence because the documents were destroyed. Remember?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, documents being destroyed that are government property...
But you can't, if you don't have the documents, you can't prove what was destroyed.
But regardless, what do we have in the physical world? Destruction of property. That would be destruction of intellectual property, correct?
I don't know. You'd need to...
That's a tough one.
Yeah, well, it's... But that's why it's very key that he says not prosecutable. Never says that she didn't do anything wrong, but without the emails, you can't prove what was destroyed and what wasn't.
Is that correct? Intellectual property?
Not intellectual property.
What would you call it?
I mean, you don't know what it is.
That's the problem because, it's all relatively new. Like, even if it's 20 years, 20, 30 years, it's still relatively new.
Yeah. So, another section. There were real-world flaws with the Russia investigation, especially how the FBI botched applications to wiretap a former Trump campaign advisor. But the Justice Department's Inspector General, Michael E. Horowitz, found those problems, leaving Mr. Durham with depleted hunting grounds. Indeed, credit for Mr. Durham's only courtroom success, a guilty plea by an FBI lawyer who doctored an email during preparations for a wiretap renewal, belonged to Mr. Horowitz, who uncovered the misconduct. At the same time, Mr. Horowitz kneecapped Mr. Durham's investigation by finding no evidence that FBI actions were politically motivated. Okay, so...
I'm sorry, what?
So, hang on. What? So I need to read Mr. Horowitz's...
Not politically motivated?
Okay, so the Justice Department's Inspector General concluded that there was no evidence that the FBI's actions were politically motivated.
Who are you trying to fool with your bullshit?
Just think about what's being said. That would literally be like saying that's almost as funny as Vladimir Putin saying that Russia is not guilty of any war crimes.
Yeah. And I don't have anything to add.
That's.
I thought I did.
I mean,
I was trying to bring up something about Zelensky, just to be fair. He's the auto parts king.
That should be.
People forget about that. I bet he's a nice guy. I bet he's a nice guy. That's how we talked to each other when we were kids. You just repeated what they said. You said it in a different voice. So it went.
Psych!
I didn't say that very often.
No, I didn't really. I was more of a not guy.
Not.
Yeah. My sister said psych all the time, though.
That makes sense.
She's
manlier than Michael Obama. Oh, shit. Just kidding, Cam.
He also concluded that the basis of the Russia inquiry, an Australian diplomat's tip related to the release of Democratic emails hacked by Russia, was sufficient to open a full investigation. But if you recall from the other articles, if you recall from the other articles that we've gone through, not only was it a tip, but it was an unsubstantiated tip. that they opened an investigation on without investigating the tip. So you got to investigate your tips before you fully open it.
Yeah, that's Hunter Biden. He had his investigated several times by a fucking...
You missed the penis joke there.
Oh, I heard it.
You have to inspect the tip before you...
Just the tip, please. Anytime you're just in there, you're just trying to be like, just the tip.
You have to inspect...
Just it. You gotta try it.
You have to inspect the tip before you open.
You're going to hell.
Oh, dude, at this point, it's go big or go home. My only hope now is if I can make Satan laugh hard enough that I get preferential treatment. Mr. Trump and some of his allies in the news media went further.
He has allies in the news media?
Yeah, right, I know. Maybe 5.
Chris Wallace? Just saying.
By the way, I'm jumping around. I'm not reading this entire article. I highly recommend you do read it, although this one's a tough read. Like I said, it's kind of like there are paragraphs where nothing of substance is said. Mr. Trump and some of his allies in the news media went further, stoking expectations among his supporters that Mr. Durham would imprison high-level officials. Those include the former directors of the FBI and CIA, James B. Comey and John O. Brennan, the Democratic leaders like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Joseph Biden. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that nobody seriously said that they were going to try to arrest the directors of the FBI, CIA, Obama, Clinton, well, maybe Clinton, and Biden. I'm pretty sure nobody said they were going to try to arrest these people. I might be wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb. If I'm wrong, do please correct me in the comments. I would like to know. In fact, Mr. Durham only developed charges against 2 outsiders. Not true, there were 3. Oh, but they were giving credit to Mr. Horowitz on the 3rd. In fact, Mr. Durham only ever developed charges against 2 outsiders involved in efforts to scrutinize links between Mr. Trump and Russia, accusing them of making false statements to the FBI and treating the Bureau as a victim, not a perpetrator. That's debatable. Mr. Durham continued for another 2.5 years, spending millions of dollars. That's fucking rich. Wasn't there an investigation about Trump-Russia collusion that the taxpayers paid for and came up with nothing? What was that again? Oh, yeah.
Mueller report. That's the one. Mueller report. And then, what was the other one? Steve.
Well, the Steele dossier, I don't think was taxpayer funded.
It still costs money. Anything to do with the president costs taxpayers.
That's true.
Even if he fucking goes golfing. Just saying. You know Trump still has Secret Service?
Yeah.
Every president does.
Yeah, you get it for life.
And I'm like, holy shit. Because after you become president, you literally become a target. Even while you're president, you're a target. But like,
actually,
after being a president.
Like this is, so I'm not going to mention names, but like it's funny.
I feel for any president, sir.
Oh, I know. But it's not really funny, but it's funny in principle. So I'm not going to use specific names, but like
Michael and Obama?
No. The way our political system is now, like, could you imagine like somebody holding a former president hostage with the current political climate and be like, if you don't do this, we will kill the former president.
Oh boy, they're gonna
be like,
please?
They're like, yeah, can we make sure that we like hit record on this? Okay, go.
Please, I don't want him to walk away from this.
Make sure to double. Make sure you double tap.
Oh man, listen here, Jesse Eisenberg.
Well, actually, that lapsed into attempted Trump, but
you've seen Zombie.
Oh God, I didn't watch it for the longest time.
You fucked up.
Oh,
I've been watching it for years,
dude. I started cracking up at the very, very beginning with Double Tap. I was like, that shit is so funny.
The best part of that entire movie, Zombieland is the movie I'm talking about. The best part of that movie, and this should definitely be a short if we can. The best part of Zombieland, the movie, was when basically Woody Harrelson cock blocks Jesse Eisenberg. He's like, "You're a fucking robot built in a secret lab on the planet." I can't remember what he says, but it's so funny. And he basically just called him a big cock block. And it was the greatest thing ever.
Woody Harrelson is a fucking American.
He's a national treasure.
Who went to college here in Indiana, Hanover University.
Really, in Madison, Indiana?
Yeah, Hanover College, not university.
Nice.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson went there.
I tell you, dude, I love Woody Harrelson. I love him. Dude, even though the second Venom wasn't really that good, he was awesome in it.
I gotta say, I liked him as Cletus, and I didn't think I was gonna like him as Cletus Cassidy, but I did.
Well, the only problem was the character.
Was
like it was good, but like you said, it was a script problem. Carnage definitely wasn't as. I mean, Carnage was crazy, but Cletus Cassidy was not as crazy in this movie as he should be, because Cletus Cassidy, the actual character, he's crazy as shit. Crazy as shit.
Yeah.
Poopy.
Did you watch the movie Friends with Benefits? With
no.
You should. It's quite funny. Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis, but Woody Harrelson's in it.
Oh, okay.
But in the movie, Woody Harrelson's gay. Now, hear me out. The reason it's funny is because Woody Harrelson is such a good actor. He plays it off like it's no big deal, but he drops lines that are fucking hilarious. Because like he invites Justin Timberlake's character out for lunch or dinner. I can't remember which. But he's like, yeah, I thought me and you could go out see the city, troll for some cock. And then Justin Timberlake's like, I'm not gay. He's like, really? I thought with you being from California and all.
Speaking of Woody Harrelson, I actually just watched probably about a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you know who this guy is. He's on YouTube. His name's Professor Live. He's a basketball player. He's really good. And he actually got Woody Harrelson on, because you remember the movie he did back in the day, White Men Can't Jump?
Oh, yeah.
With
was that Wesley Snipes?
Wesley Snipes, yeah, Wesley Snipes. And it was awesome. They played basketball together, and Woody Harrelson was pretty decent.
No, I've heard Woody Harrelson's pretty decent at basketball.
Yeah. And he's only 5'9", 5'10".
I'm not surprised by that.
I thought he was tall as shit. I thought he was like 6'4" or something like that.
Woody Harrelson or Wesley Snipes?
Woody Harrelson. Wesley Snipes is only 5'7".
What?
Or either 5'7" or 5'9".
Still.
But still, like, you think he's like 6'2", 6'3". I'm 6'2", but the thing, something like that, depending on which place I'm leaving. But yeah, Wesley Snipes, he's only like 5'7", 5'9".
Which I've
actually, hey, ask Siri. Hey Siri, how tall is Wesley Snipes? Hey Siri. She don't want to listen to me. Siri's a bitch.
Snipes.
We don't have a good relationship. It's okay, we got Jamie on it.
5'9".
There you go. But still, that's not very tall. And the dude could. I don't know if he still can. He could dunk at 5'9". That's like Mugsley Bogues. Do you remember him from the early 90s? He was short. He was only like 5'4", 5'5".
Yeah, he was quite short.
And that dude could dunk.
He could?
Oh, yeah.
Muggsy could?
Yeah.
I just remember he was
the shortest. Don't you remember playing NBA Jam on freaking Sega?
I never.
Dude, that game was so sick.
I don't like basketball games. I just remember he was the shortest Monstar.
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe it? No, I said this before and I'll say it again. It was so funny because this gives you some perspective on like where you come from. Really fucks with your brain. So I thought I was short as shit growing up.
You're normal.
I'm
just tall as shit.
I'm slightly above average, but what it was is everybody in my fucking friend group, save for one, was a goddamn giant.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm all short and shit, but then like I'll never forget when it hit me, like not till my 30s. I'm standing in my Krav Maga class, and I just kind of look to my left and look to my right, and I realize I'm like, there's a couple people in here who are taller than me, but not.
Everybody else is about the same.
Or shorter.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think I feel, dude? When I walk into somewhere, I'm like looking on down with top people says, I'm only 6'2". I'm like, yeah, it's tall, but I'm just like, I'm still like looking down on tops of heads. I'm like, holy shit, you have dandruff, you have flakes.
But then what's funny about that is then like if you start watching content like Tate and Justin Waller and all these guys, and then they start doing statistics on like how many guys are actually above 6 feet tall, and you find out how actually rare it is, even in the United States, not to mention the world, but just in the United States, it's like. It's less than 2%.
Same goes with porn. Just saying.
Well, there's that too, but it's somewhere. I don't remember the hard number, so again, if I'm wrong, correct me. But it's less than 2%.
You know what's less than 2%?
Milk.
Skim milk. Damn it.
Ha ha. Ha ha. Okay, so another 2.5 years. In each instance, A jury of 12 unanimously rejected the charges.
Shit.
One of Mr. Durham's hand-picked prosecutors resigned from his team in protest of the first of those indictments, the Times has reported. But Mr. Durham's use of his law enforcement powers did achieve something else. He used court filings to institute a theory he never found evidence to charge, that the Clinton campaign conspired to frame Mr. Trump for collusion. Except that he did find evidence of that. Testimony, but evidence nonetheless. Those filings provided endless fodder for the conservative news media.
You know, with that, I'm just saying that anyone who is brought up on any type of charge or anything like that, they should be able to counter sue for the shit they've gone through by these people. You know, like Trump, all the shit he's been through. You know, his house has been raided, whatnot. You know, he should be allowed to counter sue these people. I think in a fair America, because the thing is, you know, like, I mean, that's just the way it goes. If I punch someone in the face and they don't hit me back, they don't retaliate, most states, I'm going to be the one going to jail. But if we both fight, in some states, we'll both go to jail, but in some states, I'll still go to jail. Whoever hits first goes to jail. You know, we don't have adequate justice. That's what I'm getting at. We need to be more even. Anyway, continue.
Yet the same page, this is talking about something else. Peter Strzok cautioning colleagues about the Steele dossier, a compendium of claims about the Trump campaign's ties to Russia that, it later became clear, were Clinton campaign-funded opposition research. Now, remember what I just said about how. What did this fucker just say? He used.
That's probably loud.
Oh,
I didn't realize that.
About his law enforcement powers achieving something else. He used court filings to insinuate a theory he never found evidence to charge, that the Clinton campaign conspired to frame Trump for collusion. And then a couple of paragraphs later, this motherfucker talks about how Peter Strzok cautioned colleagues about the Steele dossier, a compendium of claims about the Trump campaign's ties to Russia that it later became clear were Clinton campaign-funded opposition research. Proofread your shit, dumbass.
Who's this article by?
This is by Captain Fuckface. No, it's
left-leaning.
This is Charlie Savage, reporting from Washington. Shocker. He wrote that it, quote, should be viewed as intended to influence as well as to inform, and whoever commissioned it was, quote, presumed to be connected to the campaign in some way.
No.
In the article right here, he is quoting someone saying that whoever commissioned the Steele dossier was attached to the Clinton campaign. Mr. Horowitz uncovered and criticized. The FBI later cited the Steele dossier in wiretap applications. So, again, in the same article, identifies the Steele dossier as a compendium of claims, but the FBI cites it in wiretap applications, despite learning a reason to doubt its credibility. But Trump supporters often go further, falsely claiming that the FBI opened the entire Russia investigation based on the dossier, except that in the report, more than one person says that they opened the investigation mainly because of the dossier and a tip from an Australian politician.
I don't know who the person is, but someone actually was investigating Trump for the Russiagate, pretty much, whatever you want to call it, and ended up having ties to Russia themselves.
Yeah.
Who was that?
They talked about it. I'll find it here in a second. Pashenko?
Yeah.
Dashenko.
Something like that. Dashenko, yes. Dashenko. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That was bugging me.
Mr. Durham's report, this is the last bit. Mr. Durham's report appeared to nod to that false claim. What false claim? Saying that, quote, information received from politically affiliated persons and entities, in part, had triggered the inquiry. Yet elsewhere, his report acknowledged that the officials who opened the investigation in July 2016 had not yet seen the dossier, and it was prompted by the Australian diplomat's tip. He also conceded that there was, quote, no question the FBI had an affirmative obligation to closely examine that lead. What's your point?
Tip.
That's even worse. The fact that they didn't even see the dossier, and yet it was cited as evidence to open and proceed with the investigation. You dumb fuck.
I just don't understand.
You don't understand.
You're gonna make me cry. I love that short. Is what you just don't understand. You're gonna make me cry. I watch that every now and then.
I almost regret uploading that short just for...
Oh, I love it.
No. Not because of that.
Oh, because of the comments?
Well, not so much because of the comments, because I don't give a shit.
Which one was that about?
The chemistry one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the lithium in the lab?
Which, to be fair, and actually we were supposed to have a chemist come on Thursday. That's partially why we're doing this on Friday. I don't know. He hasn't responded, so I hope we have him on, but something happened.
Listen here, Heisenberg. We need to talk to you. We need to know how to make that blue.
But now I do want to find a chemist.
We need that money.
It's going to make me cry. No. I will admit I asked the question the wrong way.
He axed it.
I axed it. I should have asked, but I axed. No, I asked the question the wrong way. What I should have said...
You pulled a Trump.
A little bit, yeah.
You know we can just get light in there?
Actually, yes, I did. I pulled a Trump.
You pulled a fucking Trump,
That's
man.
the definition of pulling a Trump.
Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. You're trying to say something smart, and it makes sense, but it only makes sense in your brain.
Well, okay, so literally...
Some other people might get it.
What I should have said is, why can we not create a synthetic material that could replace lithium in a battery? But what I said was, why can't we make lithium in a lab?
He was basically trying to say, and I understood what you were saying.
I know, that's why you didn't call me on it, because you understood what I meant.
He was trying to say, how do we synthesize it? Meaning, how do we make it from nothing, whether or not it's actual lithium, whether it performs the same way lithium does.
Yeah, we need a stand-in for it. And oh my God. You know, and...
You're following me here.
Well, I take some blame for this, because a lot of people...
We lost two, bitches.
80% of the comments were saying either well, we don't grow diamonds. I'm like, no shit. I know that there's a base of carbon. I know that. And then everybody else is like, well, if we had a supernova, we could make lithium. I know, actually...
There are plenty of them in the universe. We just have trouble getting into them because we are not a Class 2 civilization. We're barely a Class 1.
But some people came to my defense. And I thank you. And what I found was very interesting is everyone who came to my... Well, not everyone. Anyone who was a professional in the chemistry or scientific field came to my defense. Because a lot of you pointed out, it's well, I mean, yes, it's possible to create lithium. It's just that we don't have the ability to do so yet.
I'm assuming it would take a lot of energy
massive
at this point.
You essentially need an exploding star. You need a supernova. But...
So... Then I'm assuming that would mean that lithium is not from Earth?
It is. Okay, so...
Is it like some type of chemical? Well, I mean, obviously, we're not chemists, so we don't know.
All of the elements in the universe, aside from hydrogen and helium, are created from the atoms smashing together from a supernova, as far as I understand it.
Science.
That massive amount of energy causes certain particles to bond together to create those atoms. That's how they come into being. Now, as of right now, that's the only way. But I pointed this out to somebody. I was telling somebody, but I was like, yeah, man, I really wish I hadn't uploaded that short. Because that whole Sunday, I was like, oh, fuck, another comment. But I want to point out, not a single one of those comments was deleted. And actually, some of them were hidden by Instagram. Whenever I see a hidden comment, I unhide it. Because
it hides comments automatically.
Yeah, and I don't know why, because none of them were really that bad. I'm not really sure why it did that.
Oh, they were assuming.
I guess, yeah, but I unhid them. So if you don't, and some comments went missing, and I have no idea how that shit happened.
It's Instagram.
I know.
Well, YouTube does it too. See over here, I have live chat turned on, and when I go back to normal settings, it goes to top chat. But I mean, obviously, we don't have 50,000 people, commenting. But if we did, we'd appreciate every single one of you.
We don't have fresh and fit numbers. Got to bump those numbers up.
Hey,
those
nah.
numbers.
What's the other one? Whatever podcast.
God damn it.
This dude, I've been watching some of our shorts, and this dude sounds just like Brian. He's gonna hate me for that, but he sounds just like Brian.
Brian, sir. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Roman.
Brian.
Throw him to the floor. Throw him to the floor again, sir.
Biggest dickus.
He has a wife, She's called Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks.
Oh, shit.
I will not have my friends ridiculed by the common soldiery.
Did you, I can't remember who it is. It's probably Marjorie. Just saying. Marjorie, just sit down and shut up for a little bit. I'm just saying. Just like, if you've got something that's like actually going to, put it on Front Street, and if you do have an impeachable offense, like an actual real impeachable offense, not, I keep saying it weird, but not like, the Donald Trump coup.
Dude.
Please, just like, sit down. Shut up.
I just got a great idea. Dude, no, you're going to love this. And it's all consensual.
Dude, what's mine say?
I shouldn't have led with that statement.
No.
So, check this out. Check this idea out. You want to solve the deficit crisis? Politician versus politician boxing. Pay-per-view. All the proceeds go towards the national debt.
I like it.
I love it. See a bunch of Republicans lined up, be like, let's do this.
Dude, that video of like I'm gonna say the older gentleman with the gray beard, and he's in like the vest, and it's got I believe it's Leonard Skinner playing, and the guy's fighting two guys at one time. They're like two little tiny Asian guys.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're Asian, but that's what it would look like.
Well, the main event of the first show, Marjorie Taylor Greene versus Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I think Marjorie would fuck her up.
I think Marjorie would fuck her up.
Because the thing is, she's blue collar.
Well, no, she's, is it her that actually helped out on the family farm? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't know if she did farming, but she...
Something outdoors.
Either her or her husband owns construction businesses.
That's what it was.
A couple of them, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was
they were successful business people, and I'll tell you what, a lot of Republicans, if you look at them, a lot of them are successful business people. Yeah. Not every single one, but a lot of them.
It's hard to be successful in. It really is.
You have to know what you're doing, and you have to be good at it. You can't just be a Joe with a truck.
No, because they don't last long, because they eventually get sued or disappear.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the number one worst thing about construction is freaking insurance. Oh my gosh, it sucks. That's the only thing that stopped me from starting a freaking roofing company.
I know contractors who have literally just turned it over to insurance just because that is less painful than fighting. Because they're 100% in the right, but it's just cheaper and easier to just...
I have gone to bat with insurance companies over claims. So it's definitely not fun. I fought with one to get decking replaced on a house, and they refused to pay for that. And I'm like, it's part of the roof.
This is the worst.
I was like, if the roof leaks, it destroys stuff underneath. Why is it not paying for that? And they're trying to say it's the customer's fault for not keeping up. And I'm like, but when you have a massive hailstorm and you have holes, it's going to cause a little bit of damage. I was like, even if you're just replacing one sheet. But anyway, yeah. I digress. I have nothing left. I did actually hear that I don't remember who it is, so I'm not going to quote myself. I'm not going to quote period. But they're talking about trying to get Adam Schiff removed for the Durham report. And honestly, like, how that dude and Nancy Pelosi haven't been removed long ago, I don't get it.
So let's.
Nancy's done though, right? Is she out of office yet?
No. Why would she be?
She got outvoted.
Did she?
She's not speaker.
Well, yeah, she's still in office. She's just not Speaker of the House.
How does that work?
That's a position in.
So she's still being paid by Congress.
She's still a senator. She's still a representative.
Nah, fuck that.
No, so how Speaker of the House works is the party in control.
This is why we call
votes.
it average intelligence, because I didn't know that.
It's a voted position, but it's voted within the House in the party. So like when the Democrats
That's so fucked up, because
really.
if you think about it, that's the same thing as like a kid running for class president, and he's just promising new vending machines.
Essentially.
Yeah, so popular.
What is politics if not promising new vending machines?
Politics are broken, like horribly broken.
Well, politics in general.
They have
Politics in concept is kind of a broken concept, because it would work perfectly if every single human being in that given government was altruistic and pragmatic and fair and not self-interested, but that's no one. So it's inevitably going to get broken, but that's why the founders created the checks and balances that, frankly, Donald Trump proved that they work, because Donald Trump tried to do a bunch of shit and the system was like, nah, you can't do that.
weird how that works.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And even though a lot of that stuff probably wasn't really that insidious that he was trying to get done.
Not really. But again, like so many people that I know that were, I'm not even going to say on the left, but more left-leaning, definitely didn't like Trump. Were like, I can't believe. I'm like, well, you should be happy about this, because he tried to do it and he couldn't. That is the definition of the system works, which leads into the point I was going to make. So let's look at this from a kind of worst-case scenario perspective for Trump. If you look at the Durham report and the Mueller report, at face value, it seems like they cancel each other out, because the Mueller report is like, look, there's some evidence to suggest that the Trump campaign may have been talking to some Russians, but we don't have anything that leads to collusion concrete. And then you've got the Durham report that says, look, the FBI did some questionable things, but there's not really anything that proves criminal conduct. At best, they cancel each other out. So what the country, I think, needs to do, honestly, is, because it seems like the appropriate people have been arrested or fired or whatever, is let's just call it even.
We're far from even.
I know we're far from even.
We are far from even.
In the interest of discourse in the country, I mean, because I
the only problem with that is they still have agendas they're still pushing.
Yeah, but that's not going to change.
I know, but the thing is, like, you know, with the nature, not the nature, but I'm sorry, like this wave of, like, and there's nothing wrong with transgenders, gay people, or anything like that. Like, they're fine to be who they want.
I don't
it's
get
just
it, but whatever.
the kids.
Yeah,
leave the kids alone. Like, I literally read something today, and I think I sent it to you.
Well, what kills me is the people, because we get these comments all the time too, is the people who will say in comments like, they're not coming for kids, blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, do a single Google search. Is that a drink or a dip jar?
This right here. It's a kid looking at a tattoo shop with a pink shirt and blue shorts. And it has the mom pulling his hand away into another door. It says gender affirming clinic, and it says your life changing care. And then the mom is saying that's too permanent. You will regret it. To a tattoo versus the gender affirming care, and it's scarily accurate. I'm not saying all parents, very minute, very minute. But the thing is, like these parents that are doing that to your kids, I'm like, bro, why would you do that?
So here's something that you will probably push back on. And this is why, so the so-called, damn dude, algorithm's clear for you, isn't it? Oh, that's somebody's story, isn't it?
It's mine.
Oh, it's your story. Yeah, algorithm's clear for you. You're going to push back on this, I know. So I was 100% with DeSantis on the initial so-called Don't Say Gay bill when it was K through 3. And I honestly think you can take it further than that. But now apparently it's a...
Damn. He says, is that a drink or a dip jar?
Yeah, I know. I already called him a dick.
Oh. He's dipping dick.
I'm not dipping dick.
Just the tip.
But when DeSantis, speaking of which, how's your podcast coming along?
Just the tip. That's the podcast.
His is the going to be Breakfast Club.
You know what? I think I'm going to start a solo podcast on certain days.
Just a tip.
And it's just going to be called Just a Tip. Oh, dude, it's fucking over. Breakfast Club. Man, that is such a fucking good name.
And then there's another podcast in our little network that it's too early to announce yet, but it's in the works. So hopefully,
stay tuned.
Hopefully, you'll have 2 new podcasts independent from us, which is very exciting. We're from our first review box to arrive in the mail. Fuck yeah, buddy. Actually, dude, I should shoot you a message because there's another great business idea you can. Oh yeah, dude, I'm so excited for your podcast. You don't even know. When you have it ready, we'll plug it officially. Tell people where they can find it and all that good stuff. Yeah. You have a potential subscription box idea, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, and T-shirts. We'll get you some T-shirts on the store, too. Because your logo's fucking great. Whoever designed it is really, yep. That too. We discussed that.
Dude, if someone could make like buttered toast flavored cereal, I fucking love toast. I would eat the shit out of it. I'm just saying.
Oh no, dude, he's got everything. Yeah, dude, did I show you the? Yeah, I showed you the logo.
Yeah.
That we drew.
It was sick.
All on Canva, baby.
Canva, telling you.
Canva's. Oh god, if we could get a sponsorship from Canva, I can't say enough good shit about Canva.
Canva's pretty awesome.
Canva's fucking great. Shit, I had a point, and I completely lost it. Toast, you distracted me.
Pencil. You said point.
Oh, so, but then...
you were about to make a Joe Biden.
Pressure.
International pressure.
No, you're not interrupting. Every time you comment, the algorithm's like, someone likes this.
Yeah, and then more people watch, and then they're like, oh, okay.
They're like, oh, below average intelligent.
Yeah, that's
Actually, I thought about naming our mascot below average intelligence by for short.
By. Ah! That is clever!
Well, actually, my initial thought was bad ape.
Dude, no, seriously. You know, I'm just saying, with all the billion genders out there nowadays, there are now 2 different bis. I identify as below average intelligence.
People who love our mascot can call themselves bisexuals.
Fuck!
So you heard it here. Our mascot
is a bisexual.
he's bi. Below average intelligence.
I love it.
And if you find him particularly attractive, you are bisexual.
Or bestiality fucking weirdo.
Interspecies erotica.
The frogs are gay.
No, you saw Clerks too, right?
Yes, but it's been a while.
Randall says bestiality.
I am the clique commander.
No, that's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, shit.
Now, Clerks 2 is when Randall's like, bestiality, and you hear behind the curtain, interspecies erotica. We're going to get flagged for that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude. When I saw that in the theater, my jaw hit the floor. That scene, I'm like, I cannot believe they're actually doing this. But, but then I guess in Florida, DeSantis and his camp extended that all the way up to 12th grade. Once you get into particularly the later years of high school, I don't like the word ban. I don't like it. Because, and even, this is an extreme case, but I will, and this is where wording in a law is very, very important. Because let's say that they flat out ban, quote, gender affirming care. What does that mean? Does that mean the use of certain procedures and drugs? Because if it does, let's say, and I know this is a major outlier, but this is why I don't like the word ban. Let's say that you have, let's say you have someone who has a legitimate, like, I don't think it's a birth defect, but somebody, it's not Klinefelter syndrome that I'm thinking of, but it's like that, where somebody, you used to call it a hermaphrodite. So somebody's legitimately born with testicles and ovaries. Let's just, for example. So depending upon how that legislation is written, they may not be able to medically, legally do anything about that until that person turns 18. Now, and I cannot believe I'm saying this because anybody who's like a trans activist is going to be like, see, we told you. It's not the same thing, fuckers.
It's like less than 0.01%. Like actual intersex people that are born with both are like.
And they usually present.
They usually present either
one or the other,
male or female,
depending upon. And that actually is that intersex is an umbrella term for multiple different conditions. Each of those individually is less than 0.0001%, I think.
It's extremely minute. So like even if you try to use it to back up a claim, it's not going to help you.
Not really. Not if you have any.
Because all of the claims that most of these people are making, it's like stupid shit. You know, I'm sorry to say this. Like not all of them, but I'm saying like people that like want to identify as a dog or a fucking attack copter or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, call me Apache.
I'm an Apache helicopter. So I'm not even really all for. I don't like banning much of anything. I think that. How do I put this? I don't have the perfect solution, but like for example, I may not necessarily be for like banning quote gender affirming care for people under 18. However, I would be all for a law allowing people to sue doctors.
No, ban it
after the fact, because at the very least it would make the people in those fields much more.
If children cannot smoke cigarettes under a certain age, if they can't join the military, if they can't rent pornography or buy pornography, why the fuck can they change their gender?
Listen, you get the fuck out of here.
And they're not changing their gender. They're
changing their outward appearance.
They're cutting and maiming themselves.
But okay, so I'm gonna devil's advocate for a second. A person can have cosmetic surgery with parental consent.
What kind?
Cosmetic, purely elective cosmetic, like a
breast augmentation should be 18 or more.
I would agree with that.
But I'm just saying it should be.
I actually agree with that.
In some states, it probably is, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really certain.
Say like a purely cosmetic nose job. Obviously, we're not talking about like after an accident. That's correct.
Yeah.
Medically necessary.
Well, that's like pierced ears. How do you feel about that? I don't agree. Like it should be like 16, 17 years old.
But do we have the right to tell people that they can't do it?
No, but I'm talking like people who pierce their baby's ears. I think that shit's fucked up.
Well, but then it lapses into the circumcision argument.
I know, but I mean, if they're allowed to kill them, I guess they can pierce their ears, huh?
Ooh. I mean, it's true, but
yeah. I mean, whether you call it a baby or not,
but that's up
to you. That's up to user discretion.
But I think you see the point I'm making, though. Just because we don't agree with the quote gender affirming care,
yeah.
Do we really have the right now? But that's why I'd be all for. Like, I could get 100% on board being like, listen, we're not going to ban it, but you can't push it, and to prevent you from pushing it, we're going to allow people to be able to sue your ass.
I do hate the word ban. I'm not a fan of it.
I would be all for people being allowed and easily allowed to sue medical professionals that perform those types of care, because then it will, I mean, if they have half a brain, they will be much more discerning about whether this person should receive that kind of care. And I would guarantee you, I'll put money on this, almost overnight, if something like that got passed universally, like at the federal level, instantly those clinics would change their entire language, and they would be much more discerning and less pressure, and it would almost be treated as a last resort because they don't want to get fucking sued. It's kind of like now, if you go into a hospital, they will only run the minimum tests necessary just because of malpractice suits.
That's like at the beginning of the podcast when I was talking about getting stem cells. Stem cells are not legal, FDA approved in the United States, but down in Mexico they are, or unregulated maybe. I don't know.
Well, in Mexico, it's not illegal in Mexico.
Right. Oh Mexico.
How I miss you.
I don't know. I was just thinking of the ocean.
I think you'd like Mexico, actually.
I love warm weather and bikinis, so.
It was actually hilarious when I was down there. They were having a cold wave, but to me it was warm.
Oh,
Not too,
what was it, like 67? And it's like,
no,
oh
it was like in the low to mid 70s.
Oh.
So like some people were wearing like long sleeve shirts, and I'm out there, and I'm like, ah. I was down there the whole time, and I'm like, my people invented winter.
Some of my roofers were from Mexico, and they, man, I swear, they moved around on that roof, and it's 100 degrees, and it's 140 up there. And they're just move around. Just
because they know the faster we get down, the faster we cool down.
Man, I tell you what, awesome. Watch a roof being put on. I don't care who does it.
It's fascinating to watch.
It is awesome.
I'll put it this way, Mike.
Did you get to watch any of your roof while you were there? Or
I wasn't there, but I did get to watch them put up a roof. There's a house that's being built behind me, and I got to watch it. But this is so funny. My tenant, because the acoustics of the alley made it sound much louder than it was. It didn't sound like a nail gun, but then I went out and looked and saw it was obviously a nail gun. It sounded much louder than that. Mm-hmm. My tenant texted me and asked if somebody was shooting a gun. It did. It did sound like it, and it was fast enough.
Boom, 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 boom. It's like, I don't know, but they're having a massacre over there.
I was like, if somebody is shooting a gun, there's a lot of dead motherfuckers out here. But it was
a lot of beer cans.
It was funny though because of like I said, the acoustics of the alley made it sound much more like a gunshot than it should have. Because that was my first thing. I heard a couple, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I thought somebody shot off like fireworks or something. But then I went out there, and I'm like, "Oh, they were putting." So I watched them for a little while, and I'm like, "God damn, they're going fast."
Fuck.
Yeah, but that's the. That's it because I got into a
debate
with somebody on TikTok who I think this person's stalking me now.
I remember
because they're commenting on other stuff now.
It's fun.
It's whatever. I invited them on the podcast.
Yeah, and they're pussies. Oh, is it that one guy?
I don't know if it's a guy or not, but.
Well, the one that I messaged.
No, although.
He messaged me back, right?
Oh, did he?
And then I said something back, and then he didn't respond at all. I was like,
well, here's the thing, though. So I'm not gonna.
And you made it sound like he kept messaging you.
He did. He's still messaging me. I'm just not even reading them.
Coward.
Who, me?
No, him.
Oh.
No, not you. You were trying to explain it with him logic. I sunk down to his level and made him look. I believe I made him look stupid, and he was just like.
Oh, he didn't need any help. So this person, I'm not going to name drop them, but if you do see this, I'm not even reading your messages because I'm sending you a message. It's not. I mean, I do disagree with you on some of the things. The reason I'm ignoring you has nothing to do with what you're saying. It's all in how you were saying it. You are a massive dick. You're an asshole. You're not going to get anybody to listen to you by acting like that. Because if somebody disagreed with you, let's see, you doctored an image, put my face on.
It's so funny, though.
It was funny.
Dude, I sent it to Sasha immediately.
But you did it maliciously. You didn't do it for the lulz. If he'd done it, I would have been like, oh, this is fucking great.
Oh, man. It was so funny. But the thing is, and the funny part about it is I know you're probably conservative or Republican. And you fucking do not watch our channel, or you didn't even probably watch the whole short or something like that. And I'm just saying, like, if you would watch our shit, you probably would agree.
No,
and that's a problem with people. Attention spans.
This person's crazy. No, they're like, I'm sorry. He's calling DeSantis a
sanctimonious.
No, he's calling him a puppet, a deep state puppet. And it's kind of like...
I've heard some stuff, but nothing I can substantiate.
That's what it was.
That's the problem.
He kept sending... Like, one thing he sent me was a woman talking on an Instagram live. And I'm like, okay, who's this bitch?
Yeah, and who's her source?
Yeah. And she's like... And he's like, I met DeSantis at a house party, and he was a dick. Okay, you're a dick. I'm sure he didn't want to talk to you because you're a massive asshole.
I'm sorry, but, how people respond to you is... I would probably say about 60% of how you speak to them.
More
than that. Okay, well, let's say like
80%. Have you read How to Win Friends and Influence People? The book?
No, but I probably already got the gist of it.
You should read that book. It will change your life, especially if you want to do anything involving sales. It's a must read, and it's so stupid simple. I'd say even 80-85% of the time, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. Because that's why whenever I'm in a debate with somebody, I try to, like, I won't resort to name calling, because the minute you do that, nothing you say is going to, there's a wall. And it happened with this guy. I looked at everything he sent me initially, and I'm like, well, here's a problem with this, here's a problem with this. You know, like, let's actually talk about it.
You answered his points. You
or at least gave
reason.
Adequate skepticism to question it. Not necessarily saying that it's wrong. I'm just like, but what about this is credible? This is just some lady talking, like, I don't know who she is. I don't know what her credentials are. I don't know where she got this in. And that's the other thing. That's one way you can spot bullshit, is when somebody's going on and on and on, and they never say where they got the information.
Or they send you a YouTube link, or like an Instagram link, or a TikTok link. I'm sorry. Send me an article.
Well,
send me an article. I can fact check myself.
Because, like, for example, if somebody sends me a video of Michio Kaku talking about interstellar physics.
Meet my Kaku.
Michio Kaku? Oh, he's brilliant. He's a scientist. He's a scientist. Now, if he's talking about astrophysics, I'm probably going to listen. I'm definitely going to listen. I'm probably going to buy it. And as much as some people like to shit on Neil deGrasse Tyson, when it comes to astrophysics, though, I'm going to listen. He's a trained astrophysicist.
I know he knows what he's talking about.
He's the director of the Hayden Planetarium.
But the problem with him is he speaks from authority, and he acts like he's 100% correct. And what's the number one thing we know about science?
Well, he says that too. So
I'm just saying, though, he like literally will say something as it's a fact, and I'm like, listen, it's a fact as of now, but it could change.
Maybe it depends on what you're talking about.
No, maybe.
Well, and that's the other thing.
Science is ever changing; it's never settled. You know what's in a hydrogen molecule? Like
atomically?
Yeah.
One proton, one electron, and one neutron.
No, like what's in between them?
Well, okay, that's debatable because we don't know.
There you go.
Dark matter, essentially.
Exactly.
But
never settled.
That's a real bad example.
But the thing is, even if we figure that out, what's that made of?
Well, I know we got to figure that out.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the mystery.
Everything has something that has.
Okay,
something.
but okay, but I see what you're saying. But at the same time, it's verifiably true that a hydrogen atom consists of one electron, one proton, and one neutron.
Exactly.
That's not going to change.
I'm just
because
saying.
If it does change, it's a different element.
But the thing is, like, we could assume it's the same, and it could be a different molecule altogether, and it acts like
molecule,
it's this.
It's an atom.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bitch.
It's an atom, not a molecule.
I could have drowned, Gilbert.
Somebody failed chemistry. Actually, I did fail chemistry. But it wasn't because
Mama!
of that. You know why I failed chemistry? The fucking mole. The mole fucked me up hard.
Mole.
I still can't tell you what it is because you just did not.
What class did we take where we had to dissect pigs?
That was biology, but I don't remember what year.
Bro, I think it was 8th grade or 9th grade. I could not stay in the class. I got kicked out because I kept dry heaving so bad.
I thought you made.
And then she's like, "Oh, just put it under your nose." I was like, "I can still fucking smell it." She's like, "You're faking." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just throw up on you. How about that, Teach?" She's like, "Okay, you can leave." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks."
Oh, I thought you made the piglet sing.
No, dude, I didn't want to fucking touch it. I was like, "It's dead. It's a dead pig. I don't want to touch it."
I want my baby back,
Chili's.
Chili. I love tacos and burritos.
Oh, man.
Fuck. So, yeah, any final thoughts on
bullshit
the Durham report?
Durr. That's what we got out of it.
It starts with Durr and ends with ham.
Basically, nothing's going to come of it. Just like the impeachment of Joe Biden from Marjorie Taylor, nothing's going to come of it. Nothing gets done in Washington. That's the problem. It doesn't matter who's left, who's right, any of that. Nothing truly that matters gets done. So
let's at least get a good economy.
That's it. That's all the fuck we want. Well, and, protection from outside sources.
Let's get Biden out of the fucking White House because that's legitimately scaring me.
And, yeah, I agree. That's it. Call it a wrap. No, I'm just kidding. Call it a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Well, we've taken up enough of your Friday evening. Or if you're watching this after the fact, then fuck you. You don't have anything better to do because you're watching us. And our bisexual ape here.
And you can't get us, and you can't flag us, YouTube. Because we already explained what that means.
Well, not only that, that makes him a hero.
He is a hero.
He's a hero. Look at that. That's the definition of success right there. I bet he sold 3 houses this year.
He's got a credit score of 740.
And he probably talked people into adjustable rate mortgages.
You idiots.
No, you can make money with an adjustable rate mortgage.
It's like, yeah, and then all of a sudden the bank throws you a fucking thing and says, okay, your interest rate's 35. I'm pretty sure it caps, but still.
I don't think it caps. I just don't think a mortgage is going to get that high.
No,
but
still.
For reference, 2008. Well, 2007. That led to 2008.
Just saying.
Because that's what happened. People took out shitty mortgages with adjustable rates. The rates went up. They couldn't afford it. And then they all went broke. I don't know where I was going with this.
Which, if you really think about it, were they on adjustable rates?
A lot of them were.
Okay, well, that would make sense. Because I was going to say, because if you lock into a 30, there's no rate change.
Correct.
But, yeah, wow. I didn't think of it that way.
That's what I said. I was like, wow, we haven't learned our fucking lesson.
Well, also, on top of that, they also gave loans to, like, basically anybody.
Right.
And then
that's why
people got into $500,000 homes they could not afford.
It's like, the payment is how much?
$4,500 a month? I don't know.
Or what some people would do is they'd buy multiple mortgages and buy rentals, but then they lost their renters because their renters lost their jobs. And like, it was a myriad of issues, but a lot of it was adjustable rate mortgages. But yes. I digress. Thank you once again for. I didn't remember that other announcement.
You still didn't?
No.
I thought we cleared it up. Damn. We need more herpes medication.
I almost said Activia, but that's the digestive yogurt.
We are just like herpes. You can suppress us with medication, but you can never fully get rid of us. No matter how many times you say, below average intelligence.
Do you think Trump has herpes?
Oh, probably.
Something tells me he's.
He don't have sex with Melania. No. They had sex once, and it was through a fucking doctor. I'm just saying. She's like, I did not want to touch you, old man. I just want your money.
I couldn't find it anyway.
And that's the thing on here. We'll make fun of him, too.
Oh, God. It's easy to make fun of Trump.
But we want that Trump economy back. Just saying.
I really.
And if it turns into a DeSantis economy and it ends up being a good economy, so be it. I don't care.
At this point, I'll take any Republican.
I will take anyone who advocates for less government and better economy. Because less government you have, the better your economy is probably going to do.
I like it when my economy does better.
Dichotomy.
When it's got integrity.
Integrity Farms. Lead us out, you bald-headed bitch.
Bald?
I'm just kidding. You got like a really shiny spot right there in the Widow Peak.
I don't have a widow's peak.
No, you don't. You just have a very round head.
This is true. I wish I could remember that announcement, but I can't. So in lieu of that, thank you for enjoying this episode of the Average Intelligent. I wouldn't do it. I could drown, Gilbert.
Welcome to the Allen Wrench Conversation.
There's probably a podcast called the Allen Wrench Conversation.
Oh. Down. That was a good one.
Be honest with me. How did you laugh at all when?
Oh yeah.
It's
just hard to portray that over text.
We uploaded the infrastructure bill short we were talking about to Instagram, and I was actually trying to find the Home Depot music, but Home Improvement theme came up, and I was like, "Oh, this is better."
All right, leave us out.
Thank you for enjoying this episode of the Average Intelligence Podcast. As always, hopefully you're a little bit less average and a little bit more intelligent. I legitimately almost said less intelligent and more average.
We are below average.
We are. Ask him. Bye.
Goodbye.
As always, you can check us out on YouTube, but if you prefer to listen to the podcast, you can check us out on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, all of the above, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. Reminder, check out the rock band again. Their music video for their song Turned has been released. Keep up to date for tour information. Be sure to check out our buddy Toast's podcast, The Breakfast Club, when it debuts very, very soon. And hopefully we will have another podcast we can turn you on to for all of you Disney and Broadway fans out there.
Oh, shit.
And you'll probably see us on some of these podcasts.
Alrighty. Goodbye.
Go and get